And who's been at the driving seat, at the helm of a process that actually led or that is culminating into what we are seeing now, and that is Arts and Culture Minister Nathi Mthethwa. Minister, good morning, and thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning, Vuyo, and thank you to the viewers.
Well, take us back to where it all started, the journeys you had to make to and from Russia preparing for this day.
Well, it started when the president gave me that message that he has spoken to Kotane, and she has expressed her intention to have the mortal remains of our great leader coming home. And then we started the process of engaging my counterparts in Russia and the city of Moscow, together with our embassy, which played a very critical role in arranging meetings, in ensuring that people are there. But it was an involved process, but mutually agreed process from the beginning with the Russians, I must say.
What were you to say were the most challenging parts of this journey?
Well, the most challenging part would have been the weather more than anything, that whatever we're doing, we're planning it around the weather. As you know, that Russia can easily go up to minus 20 degrees and so on. So whatever we're doing, we had to take that into account. But in terms of the actual preparations, all what it was taking was a time to inform many people the struggle stalwarts in Russia and other people who were part and parcel of the liberation struggle.
Now, there are still many families who long to see the day when, whether the mortal remains of their loved ones would also come back home. Many people who are still not known as to where they died and what actually happened to them. What are the lessons that you've learned from this process that you think may perhaps help some of the families? What should families do? What can they do, those that still want their loved ones to come back home who may have died in foreign lands? What have you learned from this process, that which can come in handy?
Well, what we have learned in the process is that if there is a clear decision taken, especially at the provincial level, because even in this case, even though the matter was handled at the national level with Kotane speaking to the president, but the province where a person or an individual comes from has to take a decision, an executive decision at an executive level. And to that extent, I want to thank the province of Northwest under Premier Mahumapili, who were able to immediately action that, because without that, at the national level, it would be difficult to move easily.
So you would advise families to actually approach authorities within their provinces, lobby them so that processes can move a lot faster.
Absolutely. Even those who have been repatriated before, it was the leadership at the provincial level who would have taken a decision. But obviously, because it involves other countries, it has to come national, because the national competency of that is, it's the national competency of interacting with other countries.
Do you think, Minister, where do you think, I mean, having been part of this process, I remember you giving a speech at the Nat Nagasa lecture some months ago last year. And do you think, have you started sort of thinking of maybe new ideas, or have you had any thoughts about how best we can honor stalwarts such as Nat Nagasa, such as JB Marks, such as Moses Kotane in future? In other words, have any new or different thoughts sort of started to crystallize in your own mind about how best, or maybe differently even, we should honor these people?
Well, first and foremost is that this is our heritage as a nation, scattered all over the world, in the form of mortal remains, in the form of artifacts, because we are repatriating that as well, in the form of literary works and so on. Now, it's important because we are writing our story. And the major thing about this is that people should look at South Africa from the prism of the progressive and democratic South Africa. We are changing the heritage landscape in our society. And for us to have an everlasting honor of these heroes, we've got to ensure that even in our curriculum, we have, because I don't see anything beyond this, beyond Kotane, beyond Marx in South Africa. But how many South Africans know about that? People would know about our leaders, about Madiba, about Sisulu. They would not know that behind them there was a force which was unassuming, but which played a critical role in ensuring that these leaders became what they became for South Africa and the world.
Well, with you being the custodian of a large part of our heritage, the question is whether you need to do more, or you're being hampered by resources, or is it ideas, that we don't have? What do you think can speed up that process?
Well, we'll speed up the process by working within government and society and getting everybody involved, from business, the media, and so on. We've got to change this narrative, which is very negative about South Africa, to tell what other people say about us, what Russians say about the struggle for freedom in South Africa, the fight against apartheid, individuals who emerged out of this process, and how the whole nation supported the struggle for liberation, and looking forward now in building a South Africa which is emancipated even economically. All of us have a role to play because we've got to tell our story.
Minister, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Well, Minister Nathi Mthethwa, the man who got the responsibility from the President to run with this process once decisions were taken that the bodies of Mr. JB Marks and Mr. Moses Kotane should be brought back home.